ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here and for the help that you provided us over the last 24 hours. Since this aired last night, the number of tips that we've received have been invaluable. I also want to thank the members of the Philadelphia Police Department. The detective division down there jumped on board to help us. I'm with Lieutenant Steve Fink, who is the commander of our investigative unit, who is the lead detective on this, who coordinated all the resources, and especially the resources of the U.S. Marshals, who in about 20 minutes ago took custody of our main suspect. The main suspect his name is Khalil Evans, 44-year-old black male. And again, you saw the press release, you saw the photos that were available from the mall surveillance, and also the photo that was provided after our victim was able to videotape the image of this suspect. What we also have learned about this suspect, if we can hold that for a second, is that this is a 28-page rap sheet to include numerous weapons offenses, possession of firearms, aggravated assault, terroristic threats, and again, an individual who should not have been on the street. And you look at this crime, going after a 14-year-old child, unambiguous that this was a young girl. And then we have received numerous tips from other individuals that our suspect approached other young women in this mall and possibly at other locations throughout the Delaware Valley. So right now we're happy to report that this guy is off the street. And it couldn't have been done without the great work of Lieutenant Fink and all of his detectives, the Philadelphia Police Department, U.S. Marshals, FBI task forces, and others who immediately after seeing the reports were calling us saying, how can we help? This is a type of crime where the hair on your back stands up. It's very disturbing to see that video and to see, thank God this young lady had the presence of mind to scream, to pull back, and to take off as citizens jumped in to stop these individuals, because only God knows what their intentions were. We can only assume the worst. A 44-year-old male accompanied by a 50-plus-year-old male approaching young women, children, and engaging in conversation and trying to take them from the mall where there's a vehicle parked in proximity to where they were exiting. But I do have Lieutenant Fink here, who has ran this investigation and has additional information that possibly we could share if you have any questions. I'm also joined by Detective Sergeant Troy Hummel, Jeff Anderson, Lieutenant Joe Bly, and Lieutenant Drew Kent.
Where was the suspect arrested?
So after our detectives were out with Philadelphia Police and the U.S. Marshals, checking locations that we know to have been frequented by the suspect all day. We checked families' homes. We checked places that he was known to be. The detectives were out there all day just knocking on doors, shaking the trees. We believe that motivated the suspect in this case to go to his attorney's office in Media, Delaware County, and the attorney contacted us and advised that he was turning himself in. So right now he's in custody of the U.S. Marshals. He's on his way back to Abington Police Department right now, where he will be formally charged, see a judge this evening, and bail will be set.
What about the other gentleman, the other person with him?
So we're still investigating the other gentleman's exact role in this incident. We're speaking to multiple witnesses. Our detectives have been working nonstop since last night, all day today. Fortunately, based on the media coverage that went out last night, we got numerous tips from eyewitnesses at the scene last night. We received multiple reports from young women who have encountered these gentlemen in the past, as well as other information. So currently there's no charges against the second suspect who was seen on the video, but it remains an active investigation, and we are at this point trying to determine his exact role in this incident.
Looking at his, what you said, 28 pages, I'm not counting it online, but I'm scrolling, and I see violation of the Uniform Firearms Act. Isn't that a felon not to be with a gun, isn't that why you charge with that? Fleeing police, multiple possession of instruments of a crime, and threats, and robbery, and unlawful taking. I see eluding police again. Anything you want to say
Yeah.
about the specifics in here?
Yeah, I can tell you it's disturbing, number one, but he's coming to Montgomery County now. I think some of the failed policies in Philadelphia with the district attorney's office, where it's somewhat of a revolving door, where dangerous felons are let back onto the street to prey upon our citizens. And this is a particularly disturbing case because these are innocent children. This shouldn't have happened. He should have been detained. He should have been in jail. And I know there's a lot of things that go into those decisions on why people are back on the street, but this here is a disgrace, and we need to do a better job. The system failed.
In terms of the other suspect, or in terms of that suspect, you said that he contacted his attorney reached out to you, so that was basically how you made the arrest, was through the attorney's office? Did you go to the attorney's office? How did the details of that?
Yes, the logistics were coordinated between the police department and the attorney on what way would be best, so we wound up going to the attorney's office in Delaware County to pick up the suspect and place him under arrest.
You said you're having conversations with additional victims that did not, go to the extent that last night did, but they've had conversations with him. Is it possible more charges could come from this?
Yes, it's possible more charges could be coming in the future. We did speak with other young females similar age to the victim in this case last night, who were approached and put in very uncomfortable situations by these older men who touched them, said inappropriate comments to them, and it seemed like these guys were escalating their actions last night. Unfortunately, when they grabbed this young lady at 7 p.m. last night at the mall, we're lucky that it ended there, and this girl was heroic in her actions, and the bystanders, and the great work by the detectives taking this personal. Most of us here have kids, and this does hit close to home, and it was all hands on deck, and Philadelphia police jumped in, federal partners, and this was a team sport, and it ended up in a apprehension here.
These other instances, I think we all spoke to the young woman who came here, who said she had an interaction with this man last night. Were they all similar, like creepy, but not necessarily touching the victims, but kind of just creepy? Other than this one incident at 7:30.
Yeah, the incidents that led up to the attempted abduction of the 14-year-old girl last night were incidents that crossed the line, but they didn't rise to the level of what happened in the culminating incident where he tried to take the 14-year-old. So we're still working with the district attorney's office to figure out exactly what charges might come out of those contacts with those other girls. But at this point, the important thing is that he's in custody, and we can take a breath now and figure out what the additional charges are going to be.
Have you told the victim?
The victim will be contacted shortly and made aware, yes.
And what is he charged with now?
Currently, he's charged with unlawful imprisonment of a minor child and harassment.
What kind of penalty do those charges come with? I know the DA is
Yeah, unlawful penalty of a minor child is a second-degree felony. It's a serious charge. He could face up to 5 years in prison for that charge. And like I said, we'll be exploring the possibility of additional charges if warranted.
With his previous crimes, is he on any kind of parole or anything like that?
Probation.
Yeah, he's currently on probation in Philadelphia, that's correct.
Do you know, has he checked in regularly, or is that something you don't know at this point? You don't know that?
We don't have that.
Okay, all right.
I mean, he's on the list, so you haven't necessarily had a chance to fully interview him, but is he cooperating with police in terms of helping you identify the other man who he was with and figuring out what his role and intentions were in the case?
We have not had a chance to speak with him yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank